Hello and welcome to World Talks. I'm Anna Kalczyńska. Poland hosted a high-level diplomatic visit from Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, who met with Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski. The talks come at a sensitive time. The key trade route on the Polish-Belarusian border remains closed, a move linked to the ongoing Zapad military exercises across the border. So now joining me to discuss the latest development is Tomasz Łukaszuk, research scientist, Faculty of Political Science and International Studies, University of Warsaw. Good morning, sir, and thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you for the invitation.
So I understand Wang Yi visits 3 countries, Austria, Slovenia and Poland. And basically money and trade is all he is interested in, and politics as little as possible. Quite the contrary from Polish perspective.
Right. I mean, for us, the politics is important because Minister Sikorski, from the beginning of his current mission, is in close contact with Minister Wang Yi. But at the same time, China is a very important trade partner for Poland. We have more than 50 billion euro trade last year, and not speaking about the biggest trade deficit we have with China. Among our partners, China is the second biggest trade partner for us. But on the same page, we are, let's say, the hub for China. We are the central hub for Chinese export to Central and Eastern Europe. 90% of trains on the way from China to Central and Eastern Europe pass through the territory of Poland. And the current developments on our border, I mean, Belarusian, certainly influence the interests of China, and these talks were considered, let's say, to explain our position, first of all, and also to show our sensitivities to China and make China understand how important the current situation in our region is also for China.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not even a question of sensitivity, it's a question of security. It's absolutely essential.
But of course.
So Wang Yi wants this route to be unblocked. Interesting, because rail remains a fraction of interest as far as Chinese exports are concerned. It's basically maritime export. However, if we take a closer look, this route is about 30 billion euro. Mm-hmm. So it's an increase of almost 85% in comparison with 2023. It's a huge amount of money. Right. So it's absolutely important. Now, from my perspective, the foreign policy turns to be a policy of influence, of commercial influence also on China here. And what leverage do we have apart from blocking or unblocking this Belarusian border?
Well, what kind of leverage? I mean, our position and also our achievements in our relations with China for the last more than 75 years. First of all, in the 50s, 60s, we facilitated the rapprochement between China and United States. The talks took place here in Warsaw, first. Second, when China in the 21st century applied for a nuclear surprise group membership, we supported China. When China approached us to help, let's say, to initiate a deeper economic and political partnership with Central and Eastern Europe, we organized the first summit 1+16 here in Warsaw in 2012. And last but not least, when 1 year later China initiated famous Belt and Road program, we joined the program. Our presidents and prime ministers for the last 12 years visited China, expressed the support, and also we open our railways and ports for the Chinese goods. So now what we are expecting from China is also to support us and make it, let's say, mutual benefit, not only benefit on Chinese side.
So undoubtedly we have taken important steps in facilitating the Chinese trade here in Europe and internationally also the position of China abroad, namely in the United States. Is this kind of language understood by the Chinese and valued?
Yes, it's the language of very good relations and so say economics position of Poland being one of the 20 biggest economies in the world nowadays. And not speaking about our very good relations, strategic relations with the United States, for them is a kind of the instrument which could be used. And as I mentioned before, when 70 years ago it could be used, I mean, to reach the US officials and establish diplomatic relations between China and United States at that time, it could be used also this time. I mean, just to ease the tensions, speaking about trade and all the say trade war, as it's called by many, between China and the United States. But I think it's they are in constant dialogue in the United States, between the United States and China. I'm speaking about this TikTok agreement. Just the news reached us today. But Poland is always a very, very important middle power in Europe, and if we serve as a transportation hub for them, and before we also serve as a political hub, so I think that for China our importance nowadays is even bigger than before, and for China it's a matter of balance and also the look at Europe in a different way, because before China prefer to have relations with different European Union members and not to concentrate its resources on the European Union. But Lisbon Treaty made difference. The last European Union-China summit would say wasn't a success. Let us talk about say diplomatic way. But if Wang Yi could reach out its most important partners like Poland here in the region, I think they could also try to ease the tension not only between Beijing and Washington, but also between Beijing and Brussels.
Well, indeed, Poland would play an important political role, being, as you mentioned, a political hub for China, providing that Beijing is interested in easing the relations with the United States and with Washington. And as we know, this administration unfortunately regards Beijing as its main opponent. So many
right, but we have like Ursula von der Leyen emphasized, and also Minister Sikorski repeated it, that we do understand that the China is a competitor to the European Union, but at the same time the significant trade partner and economic partner. So we have to find ways of peaceful cooperation with China. This is another way. And from our perspective, it's a matter of dialogue and let's say the further explanation of both interests and trying to reach out to big powers and explaining them that we need the rules, and not only in the politics, but also we need also more regulated and peaceful trade relations between our nations.
Last year's visit of Andrzej Duda in Beijing lasted 4 hours. The talks lasted 4 hours. And apparently they brought some fruits, meaning easing the situation at the eastern border at that time, when at the hybrid war, its intensity at the time. How about today? Do you expect some sort of easing of the tension at the Belarusian border?
I believe that both the talks and meeting with President Nawrocki and Deputy Prime Minister Sikorski, that I'm sure that also would bring some, say, understanding and maybe kind of, as you mentioned, leverage to our relations, and I'm speaking certainly about the Belarusia and Russia, and this is what diplomacy is about. And I do believe that if the President's Duda talks last year were so successful, I mean, this time definitely if it would be those new president and deputy prime minister also will bring us success as well.
We haven't heard a word about sanctions on China that were mentioned in the letter to NATO countries by Donald Trump.
But of course, but we have to remember, as I mentioned today, that after Lisbon Treaty, the European Commission is a partner to discuss the additional tariffs and sanctions. It's not the member countries. Certainly, it's the European Commission with the opinion of the EU Council, but still, it's the European Commission, and Brussels is the best address to discuss those matters. But at the end of the day, if we heard today that TikTok issue, probably one of the most important issues between US and China, could be solved, so it means that the first step was made, and then we can start also deeper talks on China and US trade and maybe the new terms of engagement for both superpowers.
Thank you so much, Tomasz Łukaszuk, Research Scientist, Faculty of Political Science and International Studies, University of Warsaw. It was our guest this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned to TVP World for more interesting news to come.